Lord,
my bad.
that's all right. That's all right. All right. So we have with us Miss Keisha Major, and she's going to talk to us about, again, great information tonight. This is like the ad hoc information tonight, talking about you and your athlete. Is that correct?
Yes, I am going to be talking to sports moms because we are just as important as the dads. Not all athletes have both parents in the family, and if they are blessed to have that, the moms still want to be a part. So I first want to thank you for welcoming me on and having me on today. You always come at the right time when I'm feeling a little bit lazy, and you're like, Keisha, you ready? And I'm like, not really, but we're going to go ahead and do this. So to introduce myself, my name is Keisha Major. I am the owner of Journey to Greatness, where I inspire individuals not to just survive, but to thrive in every area of their life. And so what does thrive stand for? Trust the process, highlight all wins, receive guidance, invest in yourself, vacate negativity, and evaluate your goals. And so as we are at home, a lot of us, some working and some not working, we have a lot of time to invest in our goals, to reevaluate what's going on, and maybe come up with different plans. And so I was sitting during my time of not being able to go out and being quarantined in the house, or not, I guess, staying in and out of the way of, catching a virus or anything like that. And I started thinking about what is my real passion? Where do I want to narrow in on? Because I'm a mom, I work full time, I'm a speaker, I'm an anthologist, I'm a motivator. So where is my group of coordinate people? And so Mark asked me when I started this year, what is your word for the year? And I said, my word for the year is vision, because it's 2020 and 2020 having a 2020 vision. And so that allowed me to go in and find what I really wanted to do. So there's two things, if anybody knows me, well, three, that I'm passionate about: my kids, sports, and food. Food was the third one. I love to eat. And so I wanted to put those together, because having a senior, having an athlete, we've gone through the process, we've gone through a lot, and I've had a lot of parents, not just moms, ask me, okay, why do you do this? Or, can you give me some advice on that? And so I wanted to formulate Sports Moms 101 to give everybody the knowledge that they need or that they want. And so this is a time that you want to first communicate with your athlete. Find out what they want to do, how far they want to go in their sport, what is their passion. We can have something in our head, but the head has to connect to the heart, because true commitment is staying committed or staying loyal long after the mood that you set it in. And so we have these ideas that, oh, I want to do this, or our athletes say, I want to do this, but do they really want to do it when the time gets hard? Do they really want to do it when they're no longer the star athlete or everybody is looking at them? So you don't want to put your dreams or your projection of what you want on them. You want to communicate. If they're in middle school, do you want to play in high school? Do you want to play in college? Do you want to go to the pro leagues? And if you do, I need to know so I can help you get to that point. And so you don't want to, I found myself always there. I was the mom, and you find all these dads and you're like, okay, well, why am I the only mom, or why are all the dads there? But I had to know that this was my son's passion, because I communicated it to him, or he communicated it to me. We talked about how far he wanted to go academically and athletically. So during this time, if they want to go to college, then you need to start prepping them. And you can start this in middle school as far up as in high school. You do not want to start prepping them to take their SATs, to get their grades up when they're in the 11th grade, trying to go to the 12th grade. You want to start these things early. So I had my son to take the SATs when he was in the 10th grade. Had he had most of the classes? No, but it set a benchmark as to where he was and how far that he needed to work. The second thing that I talked to him about was when sports are over, because at some point for everybody, sports will be over. What do you want to do with yourself? Because you're not going to be sitting on my sofa. You're not going to just say, oh, well, things are done. We need to have an after. What are you going to do? So he decided what major he wanted to do, not so much of the career he wanted to do, but the major that he wanted to go in. He knew he wanted to still deal with sports. So we looked up majors. He decided on sports management. So I'm having him work on his SATs. I'm having him work on his grades. Freshman year was not his best year, so he had a lot of work to do, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade to get those grades up. So if your kids aren't doing well in school, know that there's still time, but you don't want to wait till they're going to the 12th grade and say, it's time for us to make these grades up. You want to stay on them in the 10th, 11th, and 12th, and as much in the 9th grade. It is an adjustment when they're going to high school. But as long as there's some progression that they have, then that's some good stuff. That's showing some positive and moving forward. So now you talk to them about their grades. You're working on their SAT scores. You know where they want to go, what they want to do, and how much effort that you have to put in. The second thing that you want to do after you communicate with them, you want to learn their sports, or if they're not in sports, I'm talking from sports, but this applies really to anything that goes on, anything that your kids do. You want to become a fan of it, because really you are their rock. They're building themselves on you, and if you're shaky, then they're going to likely build on shaky ground. So you want to learn their sport, learn their activity, so then when you can communicate to them. See, because there's a difference between being their number one fan and being their number one cheerleader. A cheerleader, when they cheer for their team, it doesn't matter if they're winning 50-0 or if they're losing 0-50. They're still going to say the same cheers. We're number one, can't be number two. We're going to beat the whoopsies out of you. That's one of my favorite cheers if you ever thought about it. But how are you going to beat them in your 50 and it's fourth quarter and you're down by 50 points? But the cheerleaders, they're just saying their cheers. They're cheering them on. The difference between a cheerleader and a fan will stick by you whether you're winning or losing, but a fan is going to yell out when you are wrong. They're going to cheer you on when you're right. So when you have taken the time to learn your child's craft, you can point out when they're wrong and they can't get over it. So yes, I'm a sports mom. I'm my kid's number one fan. But when they mess up, I'm gonna yell out on the field just like I did if they were doing good. And so I give you an example. One time, I was talking to my son about a game, and he couldn't get off his block. And so he said, well, I couldn't get off the block. He was holding me. And I said, no, it wasn't that he was holding you. It was that you didn't have enough weight to get him off. So if you got your weight up, you wouldn't have a problem with getting off the block. Now, most people aren't going to tell their kids that. They'll be like, oh, okay, no matter, next time. But because I tell my son the good, the bad, and the ugly, he knows that he can always depend and trust on me for what I say. So I built the confidence in him to know that, if we're having a discussion about something, he can trust my words because I've put enough investment into his craft or to my daughter's craft as to what they need to do. And I encourage you to do the same. It's a building, a bonding moment as well for them as it is for you. The next thing is 5 is my son's number, so that's my favorite number. And so there are 5 points to a star. The first point is God or whoever you believe in. That's your beliefs, who you go to depend on them, because sometimes we hold our kids at a different standard than we hold ourselves. We know that we've been through life. We know that life isn't always easy, and we want to patty cake them and let them think that, oh, it's okay. better luck next time, or, tell what all the other person did wrong. But when they want to quit, we're like, okay, yeah, let's quit. We'll go to the next thing. But if they said that this is what they want to do, you have to help them ground their belief in something higher than just that sport or just what's going on. They have to have a foundation on whatever that you're teaching them to believe in. The next thing is, for the 5 keys, is family. Your support, the support that you give them, as well as the support around others that give them as well. So your extended family, your immediate family, whoever it is, they need that support, because as you know, the world isn't easy on you, and they need something that's grounded their belief and their family to help them push through the good, the bad, and the ugly times. The third thing is that they have is themselves. So they can't get any further than the effort that they are willing to give. And yeah, sometimes they don't want to give the effort, and that's where us as parents come in, where we have to push them to say, this is what you said a long time ago that you wanted to do. Now, am I going to hold you to it? First, we're going to have a discussion and find out why you're not giving the effort. Is it just because things have changed? You found new passion? Is it just because you're not liking having to prove yourself or give the extra effort? Why is it that your effort is not where it should be? And so you as a parent, you as the support system, you dig in and help them and guide them. So you just don't give them support, you also give them guidance, okay? Because I invested enough in the craft that my son had, and I invested enough in his future, I can now help give him guidance as to where he needs to be. The fourth area is their coaches. You need to build a good relationship with their coaches, because in the recruiting process, the coaches play a major role in their recruiting. You're not always going to have all the answers. The coaches can help you guide where they need to be, what they need to do, where are they lacking, what angles do they need to come from or fix, or they can give you an insight on the coaches or schools to go to. So you need to build a good relationship with your child's coaches and have them build a good relationship with them as well. So it's just not you and the parents going back to back. Bring the kids in. This is a community builds the kids. You raise, what is it? A village. It takes a village to raise the kids. Sorry. So outside of the coaches, the fifth thing is their trainers. They need to have a position trainer as well as a speed and agility trainer, because they can have the most talent in the world, but hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So each level that you go to, you're always going to have somebody that's just as good as you or better. And the higher that you go, there becomes a point that when they go to college, everybody was that guy or that girl at their team. And so how can they cope with those things if they've never invested in the beginning as to what they needed to do? And so trainer for position, trainer for speed. You also need to have a mental trainer, somebody that talks their mind and helps them outside of yourself, helps them to deal with adversities in their life, deal with what's going on, because as we all know, kids don't always talk to us about everything that's going on, but they need to have a network around them as to who that they can talk to. They also need to have a rehab, I would call it a rehab trainer. So somebody that goes in and helps them rehab their body, whether it's, stretching and massaging. There's all kinds of things, chirotherapy out there. They can go to the sauna, the whirlpool, that they can use to recover their muscles. And why is all of this important? Because we do it for ourselves. We treat ourselves. We get drained. We get tired. We get overwhelmed. And so we never think that our kids have the same thing that is going on, but they do. And so one of the questions that was asked of me is, when should they start taking the SATs? They can take it as early as possible. I recommend the 10th grade, and that way they have the 11th and 12th grade if they need to bring it up. I don't recommend taking the test more than 3 times. Once you get to the 3rd time, your score usually does not change very much, so no more than 3 times. So he took it in the end of the 10th grade year, he took it at the end of the 11th grade year, and he took it in the middle of the 12th grade year. So with that, that is all that I have for you. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm building a workshop on going in depth into each of the 5 stars and how you can help your athlete grow.
Well, well, well. All right, Keisha, you said a lot. You said a lot. You said a lot. You said a lot. No, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. I mean, I know you are walking this journey right now with your kids in sports, and this is of course one of my passion places. You want to get me to talk the rest of the night. Let's talk about athletes and young athletes and getting ready for the next step, whatever it may be. And I commend you on being out there, because that is an area that you don't hear much about. You know, having been in the arena and been in the AU teams, whatever, and coaching outside of Loudoun County, where it's daddy ball. That's not what you see. That's not what you see. It's daddy ball. If the son don't make the team, doggone, they start their own team. But when you travel around, that's not what you see. You see the moms. You see the coach, maybe 1 or 2 parent dads, and then the rest of the moms are in the room, and they're there trying to make sure their child is getting the exposure, the reps, the attention they need to have a great experience, because everybody's not going to make the next level, right? Everybody's not going to get there. While we're here, can we make sure that they have the most fun they're going to have? What I want to ask you right off the break, since we're dealing in this new era, what can you tell specifically your audience, sports moms and sports parents in general? What can they do right now with their kids at home? There is no AAU travel ball at this moment. It ain't happening. This is where we be. It's time for Easter tournament, the pre-jump, the jump, getting ready for that. That's not happening. What can they be doing?
So 2 things that they can be doing, well, I guess 3. So first, they should be studying for their SATs. So there's online resources that they can go to do practice SATs, to build their knowledge, reading, studying. That would be the first thing that I would recommend. They're at home. A lot of them are doing online learning anyway, so their mind is geared to learning something. The second thing that they need to do is still make sure that they're getting enough sleep, that they're eating properly, even though that they're at home. They also need to continue to work on their craft. So you might not be able, say your trainer is closed, you still can talk to your trainer about giving you workouts to do at home to keep your body in order and the way that it needs to be, because a lot of them may just be playing the video games and then they're out of shape, and when it's time for them to get back, they're not ready. You said, what's the line that you say? You always have to stay ready. You don't have to get ready if you stay ready.
Right. There you go. That's what right. If you stay ready, you're ready to go. That's a great point, because last I checked, I don't know, the basketball courts are still open. The fields are still open to go run around and kick, to work on your skill set. Even recommendation to watch old games and study and break film and pull out your old games and your mom and them shot all the video. Go back and watch the videos and study. Right? Would you agree? I like your point. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was saying I do agree with that.
Yeah, I like your point where you talked about learning your child's sport, like becoming the fan, the conversation between cheerleader versus fan. Haven't heard that before. Love that. And knowing what it is, and I think, because I do work with Positive Coaching Alliance, I'm always in the field talking and with whatever. And one of the things I tell parents is, have your kid teach you the sport. Have them teach it to you. You already know, you got 4 letters, all kind of wall plaque, but have them teach you the sport. That way there's some joint learning going on, and you can see where they are with their IQ and help at that spot, right? As opposed to just assuming that they're doing a great job because you love them to death and that's your baby boo.
Right. That's not going to get them too far.
Not get too far. No, here's a really, really good question. As far as you're talking about the investment of time and resources, which the things you rattled off cost money. I've done cryo. That first of all is cold, and second of all, it's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome. I know your son was in it and was doing it to us for rehabilitation purposes. But at what point do you coach and form parents to engage in those activities? I think if you go that level, your child better be showing some lean, some heavy bend to being something or wanting to be something greater. Not that they have to be the best, but they got to act like they're interested. When is that good point?
I think it comes in when you have a conversation with them, how far that they want to go and how much they're invested. Because if they're just playing to have fun, you're not going to invest as much in them or in the things that they need as somebody that wants to go further. And so in the investment, you have to shop around. You have to look at your insurance and see, do they pay for it? Does your insurance cover massages or the chirotherapy or any of those things to help them rehab their body? If they don't, a lot of people have a gym membership. You can go to the gym and get into the sauna. I know when my son was injured, this was before I think I still was taking him to get massages, but he had hurt his hip flexor. And so I'm like, I have to now become your physical therapist. So every day I was massaging him, rolling him, putting heat on it. I was doing those things because I didn't have the resources to take him every day, but I knew that he needed to get better. So it's all about connecting, building your network, connecting with the right people, having the right trainers that can give you the knowledge that you need, that can work with the situation that you have.
Right. Look, you like Mama said. Mama said, get some Epsom salt and go soak your butt. Get in there and soak. That's right. Sit down. Soak your butt. Ain't want some. Yes, Mama.
Exactly.
Every once in a while. Now, what you mentioned a lot of things. You're talking about again the team, the support team around the athlete. I know one of the big moves that are happening now outside of the agility and speed training coach and the dietitian and the sports is the mindset coach. They have these sport mindset coaches out there that are helping these athletes cope with stuff. Like they dealing, I mean, just get over it, shoot it again, whatever. No, they're dealing with some serious stuff right now. Have you seen that a lot out there?
You don't see it a lot. I found out about it actually when he was going to DB training, and one of the coaches there was studying it. And so he was telling me about it. And I'm like, that is a good point. And so that's one of the trainers that you should have is I call it a mental trainer. I don't know the technical name for it, but having somebody that they can talk to work through it, and somebody that is a sports mental trainer can help them in the sports arena, not just in life, but dealing with the adversities that they may face on their team or at a camp, or they're not getting a skill the way that they want to, or the coaches aren't paying attention to them the way that they think that they should, just the adversities that every athlete goes through in their process, in their journey.
Yeah, that is, and again, it's necessary. I think it's probably something we all could have dealt with, and that's why I'm glad I'm involved with Positive Coaching Alliance, and we give a shout out to them, PCA. If you all hear the letters PCA is doing a training for your youth sports or high school organization, please go and attend, because the information they're giving out is to help this new, I call the new commodity, the new customer of athlete. It's not what we grew up. These kids are totally different, and you have to approach them differently, right? What worked before doesn't work right now, and so you need to adjust. And so that's how you can get the most out of your kid, is get into that mindset piece. Keisha, what about, I know we had, and get your thought on this and how you can have the conversation with you. You have juniors and seniors, is that right? Your son's a senior?
I have a junior. Right now, I wish he was a junior, but he is a senior getting ready to go to college. Yes.
Go ahead.
And then I have an 11-year-old that's in middle school.
And then your oldest played as well, right? Didn't he play sports?
Yeah, that's the senior. He's a football player and runs track.
Here's a question I need to ask you. How did you dealing with the abrupt end of life as a senior? Like that joint ended before spring break. How are you dealing with that?
Right. Right. It's kind of hard. I'm holding on to the hope that there's still a possibility that they will have some part of their senior year. The part that hurts the most is I was really looking forward to this track season. It was the final track season. They were slated to break some school records, and just having fun the senior year. And it's kind of hard to look at it and know that this is what's going on. But I do have a team of phenomenal, we call ourselves football moms. We all have seniors that are going and playing at the next level. And so we just kind of keep each other accountable and uplifted during this time, knowing that it's just not happening to me, but it's happening to seniors all over the world.
Yeah, yeah, that was harsh. That was harsh to go
Yeah.
and not have that senior. I mean, even those graduating college, my sister, Dr. Blinton Williams, we talked about this as well, that those seniors don't get that last goodbye moment, you know, and hey, I'll see you
Right.
around. No, they ain't gonna see them no more, but they don't even get to say that. It's like,
Right.
so one of the things,
Right.
one of the things that I like to talk to, speak about, and just interject, is the life lesson behind this thing, right? And a life lesson
Mm-hmm.
is you just better be prepared and bring your best, because you don't know when it's really going to be over, right? You just
That is
don't.
so true.
You thought you're going
That
to
is
get
so
grades
true.
up the second semester. I'm going to get that second semester like I did last. Oh, wait, we gonna miss a whole quarter? So now you
That is
stuck
so
with,
true.
you know, this is the life lesson for the athlete, for all of us, is
It
in,
is.
in this moment of transition, you're not going to give your best because you just don't know when it's going to be over. It's been personified right about now. And athletes are
And
catching a
that,
hard life lesson.
they are. And that's probably one of the biggest hurts that I have, is because my son didn't have the best junior year, but he was rocking his senior. So he had that opportunity to make up for what he didn't do before. You have your spring sports, your baseball, your track, your lacrosse.
Mm-hmm.
I know those are the spring sports. I don't know all of them, but you have those kids that were depending on this season to help them go to the next level, and they don't have that anymore. It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that the colleges and at different levels understand that, and they will work with it, either have an additional camp this summer that they can do, or do something, because it's affecting everybody.
It's affecting everybody, and that was like the only like saving grace, that is, it's all level setted, that there's no one populace or one a group of people or who will get
Right.
over. No, everybody getting some of this, and that's fine.
Right.
But I just, you know, I think the conversation, the talk needs to be to our kids is, well, let's look what we've already accomplished. Let's
Mm-hmm.
look at that, build off of what we already accomplished, because that's really what they're going to have to go on as well. So go back to my life lesson. When you start this, you better give it all while you can, because you don't know what they're going to see. You could have gotten to the season and blown a leg. Guess what they're going to go look at?
Right.
The previous body
Yeah.
of work. So now the recruiters, I feel like they're doing what they always do. They look at the previous body of work,
Mm-hmm.
not
They
where you
do.
are now. Right. And see,
And I've seen that. Another thing that I will get into when I start really developing this is talking about camps that you should take your kids to go to. So you don't wait till them going into the senior year to start attending college camps. You start earlier so they have time to get that exposure. So a lot of exposure helps. You don't always have to depend on the last season, but where have you exposed yourself to? So the networking piece is very key.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, Keisha, I appreciate your time. Go ahead and drop all your information and your course offering again, and where they can find you. Go ahead and do that.
So you can find me on Instagram as well as Facebook, Journey to Greatness 2911. Those are the best places to find me right now. I'm also on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, you can look up Keisha Major. And if you have any questions, just let me know and I will respond back to you. And I'll see you on the other side.
Awesome, awesome. Again, put those points in the